Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Attaining the Second Cognition. This is Endall Beall. This is another one of my impromptu, off-the-cuff discussions. As you've noticed over the last month or so, I've kind of taken on and undermined just about everything that supports spirituality as a mystical tradition. I've shown the insufficiencies in all of the spiritual material where there's lots of reference to things, but not 1 ounce of explanations other than telling you to meditate or recite some mantra or some malarkey like that that gives anybody any usable tools. They will tell you to go within, but they don't tell you what it means. They will tell you about enlightenment, but they don't tell you what it means. They will tell you all sorts of things, like remembering, but they don't tell you what it means. And what I want my viewers to take away from all of this is how insufficient these teachings are, because they can't tell you anything. They dangle these ideas in front of you, but there's no explanations. Now, we have to ask ourselves this. If these teachings cannot be explained other than to say, go meditate or become a vegan, what good are they? Yes, we have energetic experiences like, alleged Kundalini, which we attest was, it's a created program, just like Reiki is a created program. And people can have these experiences just like they can have peak experiences that I discussed in a recent video. And they can leave a person's consciousness altered. But you have to ask yourself, if there's all this wisdom, they go out there, they have these mystical experiences. Oh, I was introduced to the wisdom of the universe. Okay, can you teach it? How many people have you ever found that could teach this stuff? Like zero? I've heard all sorts of references about, I felt like I knew I could see everything in the universe. Okay, so what can you show me about it? Well, nothing. And that brings us to the topic of this discussion. Anybody that's been reading this spiritual shit for any period of time, you keep getting confronted with ancient wisdom. How many times have you guys heard the term ancient wisdom? Well, I said back in the earlier videos when we were working with Doug, every time you turn over a rock, you find a Fabian or a Theosophist. Well, lo and behold, guess what? The whole concept of ancient wisdom originated with a book by Annie Besant, who was a Theosophist whose basic arena of operation was in India. She published a book called The Ancient Wisdom in 1897. Prior to the publication of this book, there's not much reference to ancient wisdom anywhere. So this whole ancient wisdom nonsense is a contrivance of theosophy, just one more time. Wow, anybody surprised? So, if ancient wisdom is nothing but an invention of the 19th century theosophists, and you find this ancient wisdom shit in every goddamn New Age book out there, listen to the ancient wisdom. Ancient wisdom says this or that or the other thing. How ancient is it if it's only 100 and some odd years old? I mean, really. And see, this is kind of what I want to challenge my listeners to do. We've always said in the earlier videos in particular, do the research. Has anybody bothered to look up ancient wisdom and research this stuff? It's real simple to do Google and look up ancient wisdom, and the only definition you're going to find for it is this book by Annie Besant. So the whole concept of ancient wisdom that they trot out to the public to peddle in their New Age books and their spiritual books is total friggin' hogwash. So we've explained that they can't explain how to do this stuff. They can't explain what enlightenment is. They can't tell you how to find it other than telling you to meditate or do dope, and go on a trip and maybe have some kind of inorganic experience. They can't tell you what the going within process means. They can't tell you what remembering who you are means. It seems to me that their whole arena is rather inept. They've taken a lot of Soika ideas, but they don't have any ancient wisdom because it's only 100 years old. And all the stuff that they put out there, they can't explain because they don't know jack shit about it. So I don't know how much more of this belief system, this spiritual system that they're roping people in with and have for the last 2,500 years or more. How much failure does it take for people to realize you're being bullshitted? We've provided the answers. We've provided the instructions. Now I know people are going to protest over the instructions, and I can't help the protest when people want to embrace a belief based on wishful thinking and pie-in-the-sky illusions. But at the end of the day, those illusions aren't going to carry you. And if you're relying on any type of ancient wisdom, well, the book was only written in 1897, so how ancient can that wisdom really be? So this is my last broadside about tearing down all this New Age doctrinal hornswoggle led by a bunch of people that can spout shit but not teach shit. This is what your measure of reliability ought to be in who you listen to. Who is actually teaching you things, telling you how to do things, and who isn't. I ask each one of you to review all the material you've read over the years, particularly put out by the spiritual societies and gurus and channel dipshits and all this other kind of stuff, and tell me, who ever taught you how to do anything? Or did they just tell you about something and leave you to figure it out? And then weigh what we've shared. If you find value in our information and you find nothing but hollow promises in theirs, then I think it should be readily apparent who's dealing with the real cards here and who's playing with a cut deck. So this ancient wisdom myth needs to be busted, just like everything else we've been busting. I've been tearing down the foundations of this stuff by presenting logical, sound, reasonable answers as to why none of this stuff works. Because it's not designed to work. It's meant to keep people hooked in anxieties and wishing and hoping and praying and never happening. So if you have any doubts about what you want to look at, you can go to that New Age stuff and read it with all its dangling promises and no delivery. Or you can try working with the stuff we've told you how to do through our books and our videos. And you can find out where your results are going to be. I know many of you have read this stuff for decades. You're still scratching your head trying to figure out what this New Age crap or spiritual crap's all about. Lots of promises, lots of hope, lots of, hey, I'm gonna get it this time. But you know what? Never happens. You always wind up with a handful of nothing at the end. Commenters on our videos, they're seeing results from what we're sharing. You know, if this stuff didn't work the way we're sharing it, then people wouldn't say they're seeing progress. So you can either go with a fake product that doesn't deliver anything, batteries don't work out right, breaks when you wind it up, you know, oh, that ancient wisdom, or you can go with what works. But I thought I'd expose the ancient wisdom thing as just another theosophical myth, another boondoggle. Because when they don't have any illusions left to stand on, folks, the house has got to crumble. It's got to be a saturation point where you just go, shit, man, I've been hornswoggled. I've been buffaloed. I'm pissed, you know, and walk away. You know, I wasted my years like that, chasing that shit. And the thing that aggravated me the most was no answers, which is why I kept pushing until I started unearthing answers and finding answers. You know, but keep doing the same stuff over and over again, expecting a different result. You know, Einstein called that insanity. And yet this is what the spiritual circus has turned into these days. It's a region of insanity. No matter how you meditate, whether you go vegan or whether you eat chocolate bars, you know, singing your mantras, dancing in the streets, Hare Krishna, whatever the hell, you're not going to find any kind of enlightenment. You might find a bunch of folks to dress alike and follow around, you know, like the Buddhists and the Hare Krishnas and, you know, other folks. But it's not going to bring you enlightenment. So we've given our work. We've provided valid how-tos. And as I've stated in one of the other videos, who can tell you the how-tos? The person that can teach you the how-tos are the ones that know what they're talking about. The persons that only talk about the whats, they don't know shit. So all this material out there in the New Age, spiritual books and channeled books and all that stuff, they don't ever deliver anything. So you have a choice as to what to listen to and what to utilize for your own process. But this ancient wisdom thing, I'm so tired of hearing that. And people, oh, ancient wisdom says this. What does it say? I don't know. Let's go look at Andy Besant's book. Maybe we can find out. So here we have the origin of ancient wisdom only 100 years ago. Another theosophical hoax. Just thought I'd share with this with you guys. You want to stay the course, and don't give up on yourself.